What's up, guys? I decided to do a new series. It's going to be called How To series. I realize as my quest to achieve mastery in this game becomes more, as I heighten towards bettering myself, I forget that there are different type of peoples who don't excel at the game as much, or they're just busy. So this How To series will cater to several number of people. And the first one is going to be busy people. So busy people, this for you busy people out there who don't have time to really learn the game as much or have the time to do it. This video will be like a one-stop shop where you can like learn how to play certain decks. So this series will start with like how to play a certain deck and the card choices, and then the it's gonna have a lot of different ways that you could learn the deck better. So it caters to busy people. It caters to people who have went on a website or a YouTube channel and then they found a certain deck. Well, we normally call those people net deckers, but that term's kind of become derogatory. So I'll just simply call it as it is. People who go online and they find a deck list and then they copy it and they don't really know how to play with it, or their friend gave them a net deck list and then they don't know how to play it as well. So this video also caters to those people. Returning players, so that's another demographic of people who have quit the game when it first started, and then their friend got them to play the game again, and so they're returning for multiple reasons. Could be that they suddenly have money to play the game. Another reason, that you are watching this video is because you are a new player and you watch the show and you really love the show and you really want to play the game because it has your favorite characters on them, but you also want to be good at the game, or you want to win competitions, or you just want to beat your friends, and you're a new player and you don't know how to play your deck that you just got from, I don't know, from the grapevine somehow. Another demographic of people that could really use this video are people who are don't really go to competitions very much, but they would like to play as like a board game kind of deal where you just play with your friends and you want to beat them only and not anybody else. Then yeah, this is the video for you. So this video is not for people who are like how I deem know-it-alls, people who are really experienced with the game. This is not your video for you. I try to make this video more like a teaching thing, where players are beginning out, or who already own the deck but don't really know how to play it to its maximum potential. So it's beginning to intermediate step. So this is going to be the videos for you as I progress this series. So it's going to be a how to play a certain deck video. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I'm going to cue the intro after this. The structure and how I want the series to go. First, I'll talk about reading key cards of every deck. So let's say, for example, you're playing a SSJ3 Ape deck, which this video will be about. The first portion of this video will talk about the key cards in the deck, and the next portion of the step is going to be the relations of other cards in the deck to the whole strategy you're basically using in order to advance your game and to make sure that you win games. So the first one is reading key cards. The second one is relations to other cards. So you want to know how one card interacts with another card within your own deck. The third thing is the third portion of the series, how-to series, is learning how to play the deck turn by turn. So turn one, what are you gonna do? Turn two, what are you gonna do? Turn three, so on and so forth, and how you're gonna unravel your deck strategy. And then the last portion, since this is only a beginners to an intermediate video, I'm gonna talk about cards that can go into your deck based on your personal preference or whatever you feel or deem that certain cards will help you beat certain matchups can go inside of your deck. So those are the four criterias, or the four. This is the rubric guidelines I will go through. And I'll try to keep it close to that guideline as possible when constructing this how-to video. So uh, I'll start soon enough on the next portion. What's up, guys? Okay, so this is going to be an SSJ3 Ape deck. So if you probably found the SSJ3 deck online somehow, or you just heard from a friend about how to play this deck, this is the series for you. So let's start with the leader. So Son Goku. This is the leader that. Oh, wow, it's a glare. Okay, so this is the leader that when so I'll read it out. So permanent says you can only place up to 6 energy. This means that at any time of the game, you can only have 6 energy, which means you can't have any more than 6 energy in the game, or else you're playing the deck wrong or illegally. The other ability says activate main. Place 1 card from your hand into the drop area. If you have no energy, choose 2 cards from your life and add them to your energy. So this unawakened side, means that when you start the game, you don't charge at all, because usually the steps is draw phase. Untap, which is untap all your energies, draw phase, and then charge phase. So with this leader, you want to make sure that you skip your charge phase, so that when you go into your main phase, which is the phase after the charge phase, you discard 1 card from your hand, and then you put 2 cards out of your life into your energy in active mode. So this is going to be a random element where you depend on the top 2 cards, or the 2 cards from your life, to be energy that you need to play your deck strategy. But typically, if you're constructing your deck correctly, that won't be a hindrance to you at all. So you're allowing yourself to build a deck correctly, to where when you take the 2 cards out of your life and put them into your energy zone, you're able to play your deck strategy depending on your deck's colors and such, so on and so forth. One advantage to this is that you are ahead. If you're going first, you're ahead of your opponent by 1 energy, or by 2 energies. Yeah, by 2 energies. So this means that right from the get-go, this leader already has a lot of potential to become really good in SSJ3 Apes. His other ability is Awaken. If your life is at 4 or less, you may awaken this leader, draw 2 cards, and flip the card over. So it has like an old ability back in with the set 1 leaders, where if you awaken the leader, you draw 2 cards. So that can be helpful if you're playing against a deck that's geared towards rushing you down, or geared towards like destroying you in the first 3 turns. Drawing those 2 extra cards can really help if you're playing a leader like SSJ3 Goku. Okay, so that's for the unawakened side. His awakened side is really what makes the leader really, really decent in today's metagame. So the awakened side reads, let's just show you the foil. It looks nice. I actually got this. His awakened side is the same thing, where you can only have 6 energy, but that's not going to keep you back from winning the game, right? Because at the end of your turn, it says, the auto, at the end of your turn, choose up to 3 of your energies. So this means any energy. It doesn't require you to untap blue energy, black energy, whatever. It can be any energy you want in untapping. So this gives you a more skill facet to the deck, where you have to be keen on what to untap in your deck at the end of your turn, to make sure that you maximize your deck's potential. And of course, this leader has the old ability where if you attack with him, you draw a card. So every turn you're attacking, you're drawing a card, and so this leader is really good for a lot of different decks, not just apes. If you do decide to go down the ape route, this is the video for you, because I'm going to tell you how to play the deck as the video goes on. So the first part of this deck is Planet Vegeta. I think this is going to be the heart and soul of the deck, mainly because when you play this card with only one yellow energy, you search for any 4 or lower Saiyan in this deck. So in this deck, you basically catered the deck to apes, right? So that means you have a lot of targets for different Saiyans. So this card reads, this is a field spell. Place this and activate this card into the battle area. It remains in the battle area until you activate another field, and when you do, place the pre-existing field card into the drop area. So this means that if you play one Planet Vegeta, it sticks on the board until you play another one, and if you do play the other one goes into the drop area, and then it triggers their ability. And the other ability is, well, I'm going to read the last ability because it's more relevant to what I'm talking about. When this card is placed into the battle area, choose up to one Saiyan with an energy cost of 4 or less from your deck and add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So if you're playing this deck, and you play a lot of 4 or less Saiyans, this card is basically in Magic the Gathering tutoring. You're tutoring for a certain card, and you're adding to your hand. You're searching your deck, and you're adding to your hand. So this allows you to toolbox your deck for anything that you might need at any moment of the game. So that you could change the way that the game is played to your favor, mostly more likely to your favor. So, and then it has another ability which says at the end of your turn, switch all great apes in your battle area to active mode. So what does this mean? So if you're playing a deck that plays a lot of great apes, you can swing with them, right, in rest mode, and then at the end of the turn, Planet Vegeta restands all of your apes in active mode. So that's a really good card if you want to, if you're worried about losing your apes to because it's now in rest mode, right? Because when a battle card is in rest mode, it's now vulnerable to an attack by either your opponent's leader cards or your opponent's battle cards, or certain cards that target rest cards. So that's vulnerable to 3 things. When you have a Planet Vegeta out, you put them in active mode so that it can be ready to either block an attack, because a lot of the apes, the great apes in this game have a blocking mechanic where you put it to rest mode, and then you block an attack. So you block an attack from whatever. If they're trying to attack your battle card, you can block the attack and it goes directly to the blocker. Or if they're trying to attack your leader, block the leader as well. So this is really the heart and soul of this deck, in my opinion, because you could untap all your apes that you need, so that you could block and attack in the same turn, or in the same sequence of turns. So it's your opponent, your turn and your opponent's turn. So you have that blocking aspect to it. So heart and soul of the deck. The next portion, or the next card, will be King Vegeta. So King Vegeta is a 3-cost card that you play on turn 3 or turn 2, because if you're playing it when you're combining it with this leader, you have your 2 turns ahead if you're going first, and 1 turn ahead if you're going second. So this means that if you do play this on turn 2, or your turn 2, you get to search for an ape. What you typically want to search for with King Vegeta when you do play him, because his auto ability reads, when you play this card, choose up to 1 great ape with an energy cost of 5 or less from your deck and add it to your hand. So he's a tutor for any great ape that you may want to add to your hand. So he's the second heart and soul of this deck. So he's kind of like the heart of the deck, or the lung of the deck, right? So you use that to search for absolute defense King Vegeta. So by turn 3, assuming that he has survived and you have not attacked with him, of course you don't want to attack with him. So when you do play with him on turn 2, your turn 2, because you have 3 energies by turn 2, and he survives, you then on turn 3 evolve him on top of him. So you play this, and then you evolve him on top of it. All right. And the reason why you want to evolve him, because he has an evolve ability where you evolve on top of King Vegeta for only 3 energies. You 2 yellows and 1 colorless. You can evolve on top of this for 3, which means you'll have 4 energies by then. By turn 3 you'll have 4 energies, because you're playing a leader that already puts you ahead on the energy curve. So on turn 3, you evolve this on top, and this is when your deck completely turns on to its maximum potential. because it states it has many abilities, but the reason why I say it turns on the maximum potential is because permanent, it has an ability. Reduce the combo cost of all Saiyan cards in your hand by 1. This means that if you look at this game, there are cards that have 10k combo shields. I don't know if you can tell, but right here, the 10k combo shield. And this 1 symbol means that you have to combo you have to pay 1 energy to combo it from either the battle area or from your hand. So if you play King Vegeta, if you have him out, this means that you can combo one. You don't have to combo. You don't have to pay this 1 number to combo from your hand. If it's a Saiyan card, so all Saiyan cards in your hand only. So if you have multiple 10Ks in your hand, so let's say you have a handful of 10Ks, right? So if you have multiple 10K combo shields, right? You have multiple one of these, and you have King Vegeta. The reason why he's called Absolute Defense King Vegeta, right? Because you can now combo these guys for free from your hand. This means that you have better defense, and you also have better offense. Because when you do swing with any of your apes, including him, you can combo all these literally for free without paying any mana costs. Normally, if you didn't have this guy on, you would have to be paying 1 energy for each one, and that's 3 energy. But if you have this guy out, you pay 0 energy to play this. So it makes sense. The other abilities that makes King Vegeta really good is that permanent, all yellow Saiyans cards in your battle area gain barrier. Barrier means that this card cannot be chosen by the skills of your opponent's cards. This means that if you do manage to have a board, so let's say all 3 of these cards in your battle area are in your battle area. They're also yellow Saiyans. The reason why you know it's a yellow Saiyan is if you look in the bottom. I don't know if you can tell. Let's see if I can make it. If you look at the bottom number or bottom letter, it says Saiyan. Right over. Where does it say it? Right here. Right over here. So it says Saiyan. Saiyan / Great Ape. So if you have this border here of 3 Saiyans, or yellow Saiyans, because he only protects yellow Saiyan, they now have barrier, which means your opponent can't target them with an ability or skill, unless there's a card that like bypasses that, like the new Universe 7 Frieza. I'll link it up right over this on this description. So that was the heart and soul of the deck, or not the heart and soul, but the meat of the deck, the muscle of the deck. The next portion is the other portion. So with this leader, you need to be awakened in order to start untapping your energy. That's when he becomes super good in the game, because you can play offense and defense in this game. So you will need cards that help you awaken. So you can play No Opening Son Goku, who's also a Saiyan, and it's also 4 or less, which means you can search it with Planet Vegeta. So Planet Vegeta can search for No Opening Son Goku, and then when you combo with him, this card reads, during your turn, at the end of the battle after you combo with this card, if your leader is yellow, play this card in rest mode. And then it says, then choose up to 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. So during your turn, if you attack with your blue leader, because this only caters to yellow leaders, right? But only the first sentence. The second sentence says, then choose up to 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. That's the most important part. So you're going to attack with him or attack with another battle card, and then you're going to combo with No Opening Son Goku, and he goes to 20k because that's the game. 10 plus 10, it'll go to 20. And then when he comes into play, you take a life, which means that you'll go down, because when you use his ability, you go to 6 life, right? So when you combo the first time, you'll go to 5. This helps you self-awaken so that when you get to this portion of the awakened side, you become a very powerful leader. So if you have 2 of this, I recommend comboing both of them so that you could awaken this guy faster. You want to be awake as soon as possible with this leader, just because you have more attrition power. So yeah, so this is the only card in your deck that helps you self-awaken, and it's searchable by Planet Vegeta. So like I said, heart and soul of the deck, and there's a reason why, because you can search for cards that help you in every situation. So the next portion of this, and the next key card in this deck is March of the Great Ape. So this is an extra card that reads activate main, which means you can only activate on your main phase, not when you're attacking. Choose up to 2 Great Ape cards from your energy with an energy cost of 4 or less from your hand, and play them, and then draw 2 cards. So this means that you can play you can play both of these on the same turn, and then you could draw 2 cards after that. So what does this mean in retrospect? So you're playing this card, it goes out of your hand, and these 2 go on the board. So this is coming from your hand as well, right? So they go onto the board. And then it says, this card also says draw 2 cards. So that means they replace themselves in your hand. So you're gonna replace it with 2 more cards, right? And now you have 2 cards and then 2 blockers on the field. That means you shortcutted it. You basically played, you only played 4 energy to play 8 energies worth of cards to play these 2 apes, right? And not only that, they have blocker. So all these apes right here. I'm gonna read the first one. This is the more important ape. This is Great Ape Prince Vegeta. It says critical, meaning that if it attacks your opponent's life, the damage normally would go to you from their life to their hand. But since it has critical, the life instead goes from the life to the drop area. This takes away advantage from your opponent, so that they can't access the cards in their life, and it goes to the drop area. So that's what critical does. Another thing it does, it has blocker. So a lot of these apes have blockers, right? Because when you play March of the Apes, you play 2 apes onto the board. So you play 2 apes on the board, and they can now block damage so that you don't die as much. And so it's really good with this leader. Because when you have 2 blockers and a leader that untaps energy, you now have more defense in your deck and more offense in your deck. So really good deck. So those are the key cards. And then his other ability, his other ability states that when you play or combo with this card, you look at up to top 3 cards from your top deck, choose 1 Great Ape, and add it to your hand. And if you do add a Great Ape, place 1 card from your hand to the drop area, and then shuffle your deck. So why is that text there, right? Well, why is this important? That effect important. So if you do combo with him, or you do play him on the board with March of the Ape, right? Or you just play him because you don't have either March of the Ape, and you just play him. That means that you could essentially, if you have multiple copies of extra cards in your hand. So let's say this is in your hand and you don't want it, right? And it's an extra card that can't help you defend yourself. So you combo or you play a Great Ape, you search for a Great Ape, so you put a Great Ape in your hand. So you look at the top 3, you put an ape in your hand, and then with his ability, you discard the card that you can't play. So if you have multiple copies of this in your hand, you can discard it so that you can have more combo power with your deck. So pretty good portion of the deck. Really good because that fixes your hand from cards that you don't need. Tora, most decks do not play Tora. The reason why I'm showing you Tora is because I don't have the Bardock ape, so I'll just have a picture of it. I normally would suggest you play Bardock the ape because he has double strike, and this one does not have double strike. But so I'll tell you what Bardock does. Bardock says when you evolve onto Bardock, I believe it restands him. Actually, I don't remember because no one ever uses it. But the reason why you want to play the other Bardock, Iron of Will, is that it has blocker and it has double strike. So that's one kind of pro of that deck. So another portion of this deck is that you play 8 super combos. So super combos in this game are limited to 4. You can only play 4 super combos. So anything with the text super combo on it, this doesn't have it because it's an old print. But the errata, due to the website, is that you can only play 4 super combos, and this has been errata to have super combo. So you can only play 4 super combos. That means you can only play 4 of it. So if you have 2 of this and 2 of a different super combo, that's it. You can't add any more. That's what it means to have only 4 super combos. So boost attack, what it does is when you combo with this card and your leader is blue, and your life is at 4 or less, draw one card and it gets plus 10, and it gets plus 10 for the combo step. So if you're playing a leader that really awakens really fast at 4 life, you can play Boost Attack Piccolo to give him plus 10, and it'll gain that boost from either to your leader or to your battle card for the duration of the combo step, not for the whole turn. So just for that one attack, it gains 10k. So that's Boost Attack Piccolo. So to accentuate that same notion, you play Unbreakable Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. This means that, well, sorry, let me read it out loud. This card has Evolve, which is 2 reds and one colorless. But that's irrelevant here because you're not really playing any Son Goku onto the board. You're just using it to combo. And it does have that one cost, and he's a Saiyan. So what does this mean? This means that if you have King Vegeta out, right? If you have King Vegeta out, you can combo him for free because he's a Saiyan from your hand, right? But the reason why people use this card in the Great Ape deck is because when this card is either evolved or comboed with, you draw a card. So it's exactly like this card in the same respect, because you can combo this guy for free, and then they both replace themselves, and they give 10k. So because he has an actual 10k boost, and he doesn't, right? His ability is giving him the 10k to make this a 10k combo. He's already naturally a 10k combo, and he's a Saiyan, which means you can combo it with King Vegeta to combo harder. So it makes sense, right? So so that's why you can actually search for this too, because he's also 4 or lower too. So your Planet Vegeta can actually search for your super combo, right? So you can actually search for this if you want to hit harder or defend harder, depending on what the situation is. So that's really good. So the goal of the deck is to actually play this guy so that it turns on all of these cards. It turns on this card and then King Vegeta. Great, King Vegeta. So playing him turns on these 2 cards in your hand so you can combo for free. But this is even more free because it replaces itself, as opposed to if you just combo with him, it doesn't replace itself. It just gives it a 10k and then lets you look at the top 3 cards. So really cool strategy, really nuanced that you have to find out this way. And then last but not least, another card that you might need is Youthful Bulma. She's a yellow card, so if you're playing, oh sorry, it's not the last card. She's a yellow card. So this allows you to play her with the energies that you cost. The majority of the cards in your deck are yellow, so you can actually play her and she replaces herself. And the reason why you want to play her in your deck is because you play Planet Vegeta, and sometimes you don't open with Planet Vegeta in your opening hand. So you need cards like Bulma, because what she does is when you play this card, draw 1 card. So when you play her, you draw a card. So hopefully it helps you see closer to your Planet Vegeta, or it helps you awaken quicker with no openings when you do combo. And then when you awaken with your leader, you draw 2 more extra cards. And then the last portion is the key card in this deck is Flying Nimbus. So Flying Nimbus states, negate the attack, then you may place 1 yellow card from your hand to the drop area, and if you do so, your opponent can only attack one more time with a battle card for the duration of the turn. So what does this mean? So this means that you can combine it with the ape strategy. So sorry, to reiterate, the ruling with this card is that if they attack with their battle card and you negate it, they're allowed to attack another time with the battle card and their leader. So that's 3 attacks total that they can get, but the first one's just negated. So it's basically they get 2 more attacks after your Nimbus if you negate a battle card attack. Now, if it's flipped, where they attack with their leader, and you activate Nimbus and discard a yellow. By the way, you don't have to discard a yellow. If you do discard a yellow, it stops them from attacking you more. But if you don't discard a yellow, you could just use this card just to negate 1 attack. But they are allowed to attack as many more times as possible. So this has versatility in that sense that you could do that. But the main reason what you want to do with this card is that you play this when you have a ape board. So if you have these 2 guys out, or just another ape, right, and you have Nimbus in your hand, you basically end your opponent's turn. So what you do is that your Nimbus, ideally their leader attack, right? If you negate a leader attack, they can only attack with one more battle card because that's what Nimbus says. So so what you do is you do this on the opponent's leader attack. You negate the attack, discard a yellow, and since your deck is mainly yellow, even Bulma, they can only attack with one more battle card. This means that if you have a blocker, right, and they attack, all you have to do is block that second attack, and then they can't attack anymore and they can't do anything. Well, they can use their auto abilities, but they can't attack anymore. So this saves you from dying another turn. So if you're being rushed down by a deck that swarms a lot, Flying Nimbus is a really good card to stop them from killing you. So it really works well together in this deck. So those are the key cards of this deck. I was supposed to talk about in the relationships with the other deck, but I've already done that as I was going over. The next portion of this video, I'll talk about how to play the deck turn by turn and possible deck choices. What's up, guys? So this is going to be the portion where I'm going to do a turn by turn scenario. So I'm going to do an opening hand with this leader. So I'm going to draw until I have 6 cards. Okay. So normally, I would suggest holding on to this card, and since all these other cards have really nothing to do with your deck's synergy, I'm going to place them back in my deck. So the next portion of this, the next step is to put all 5 back. You already have what you need in your hand. This is the heart. This is the lungs of the deck. So you're gonna shuffle your deck. Okay, and then you're gonna draw 5 more cards. Cool, perfect. All right. So and then after that, you're gonna put the 6 life out, or the 8 life. So 4, 8. So that's gonna be your life. Okay. I think that's 8. Yeah, that's 8. All right. So when you start the game, you want to pitch cards that you don't need in your hand to the drop area. So I would recommend probably since you have 2 apes in your hand, you want to make sure that this is live, right? Because when you play this card, you get to play out 2 apes. So I'm going to discard this Gohan, only because he's a blue card and he doesn't serve the purpose for my energies. And this is all random, so let's see what happens. So I'm using my Goku ability. I'm skipping charge and I'm going to my main phase. So that's a really crucial part. So you discard this to drop area. You take 2 cards out of your life and put them into the energy. So here we have 1 blue and 1 yellow. That's fine. This is still playable. Energy choices. So you're gonna start your next. You can then play top 1 energy to play 1 Bulma, and then draw 1 card. Perfect. So had this been 2 yellows, you would have been able to play 2 Bulmas this turn. But we're gonna skip this part and then go to the second part. So this is turn 1. Your turn 2s consist of assuming your opponent keeps you at 6, because that's what they want to do. They don't want to make sure that you get damaged. You're going to keep yourself at 6. So what you're going to do next is you're going to untap your energy for turn 2, your next turn, and then you do your super combo. So here I would recommend charging Bulma, only because he's more better as a super combo than it is to generate a +1. So we're going to charge her, and this is only your turn 2, right? So then you tap out, and you're going to play King Vegeta. So you're paying 3 energy, and then you're going to search for King Vegeta, the heart and soul of the deck. Everything's heart and soul in this deck, I know, because there's so many vital cards in this deck. Okay, so you're going to add King Vegeta to your hand. So that goes to your hand. Perfect. So assuming that this is only your turn 2, assuming that your King Vegeta survives, you can then evolve your King Vegeta on top. So let's assume that they didn't attack you. They left you there. This is your drop area. They left you there. You untap your energy, and then you draw. Okay, cool. So this is going to help you self-awaken. So I would recommend keeping it. So it's okay to actually just charge your super combo at this point, since you won't be needing it. So for King Vegeta to evolve, you need 2 yellows and 1 colorless. So you're just going to tap 1 colorless and then 2 yellows. And then you're going to play King Vegeta. Okay, so now he has barrier because he gives all yellow Saiyans barrier, including himself. So he has a barrier, so he can't be targeted, and he's a really buff target. But this engine doesn't start yet until you draw your Planet Vegeta to help you restand your guys. So that's the first portion of the deck. Okay, so then turn 4, you're gonna have 5 energy. So you untap everything. Sorry, it's very difficult to untap. Okay, draw. Perfect. So you drew 2 cards that will help you self-awaken. So at this point, you're probably just going to charge King Vegeta or Prince Vegeta, right? And then you can probably play March of the Ape and bring only 1 ape. You don't have to actually bring any apes with this to draw 2 cards. But at this point, I kind of want to awaken. Assuming my opponent kept me at 6, I want to awaken since I have 2 of them in my hand. And since I can combo for free because of King Vegeta, because he makes all Saiyans free, I would most likely swing with my Bulma, right? Because the reason why is because when I do swing with my Awaken Leader, I get to draw an extra card. So it's better to swing with Bulma here, and then combo these 2. And then she's gonna go up to 21, and they're gonna have to defend themselves. And then when they go to the discard, you take 2 life. So let's say you take 2 life. Right, so now you have 4, and you have 2 more cards, King Vegeta. Now you can awaken your leader. So draw 2 more. So you have a super combo, and you have another super combo. And you're at 4 life, so they're all active now, which is perfect. Since you want to maximize drawing another ape that's 4 or lower with March of the Ape, because March of the Ape says your ape has to be 4 or lower. Hang on, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, your apes have to be cost 4 or less. So you can't actually play this King Vegeta. So what you need then is to try to get the second Vegeta, and the way you do that is by increasing your option by attacking with your leader and playing your super combo, etc. As long as you get your second ape. So I'm going to try attacking with my leader to see if I can get another ape to my hand. So I'll draw. Nope, no ape. Now here I have the option of playing my super combo so I can dig deeper into my deck and hopefully get another ape. So actually, I'm not going to do that. So I prefer to have my super combos as a form of defense, and it seems unnecessary for me to combo onto my Goku. So what I'll do instead, I'll just play apes. I'll play March the Ape for only 1. So I'll play this, and it only requires 1 yellow. So if you want to keep your yellows, you can just tap everything else besides the yellow, and then play March the Apes. This allows you to bring in Vegeta, and then draw 2 cards with March the Ape. So you draw 2 more. Okay, perfect. So now you can actually tap out your last energy to either to search for another Saiyan, or if you want to defend against your opponent from killing you, you have Nimbus. Depending on the situation, it always depends. So you play that. But since you're playing the SSJ3 leader, which untaps 3 energies anyways, you can actually do both. So that's what I would recommend doing. So I'm going to play Planet Vegeta, because it restands your apes. I'm sorry. So before I do that, so when King Vegeta comes out onto the board, you can actually look at the top 3 for Great Ape and add it to your hand. So that's what I'll do. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So there's no Great Ape. That's very normal. That's very normal for the deck, for this deck. So now I can play Planet Vegeta. So which I'll do. So I'll play Planet Vegeta, and then search for a ape. So I can search for any card I need depending on the situation. So the reason why I play Sun Goten is I can kill a card and it's a Saiyan, and normally I would have to pay 1 energy to combo with him, but since he's a Saiyan, I can play it for free as well. So there's a lot of good synergy in this deck. I can also search for another Unbreakable, which is a super combo. Search for another King Vegeta. This was supposed to be a Bardock. I can search for another card to take cards out of my life. There's like so many choices. I can't search for him, but he is a Saiyan, so I can combo 1 energy, or I don't have to combo an energy for him because he's also a Saiyan. So I'm just gonna stick with my super combo, so I'm add to my hand. And now since I have Planet Vegeta, I can actually swing with my crit, and I can actually swing with my King Vegeta. And at the end of the turn, with this field spell, I can actually restand all my battle cards, which is really useful. And on top of that, this leader untaps 3 energies. So since I have Nimbus in my hand, this is what I was talking about. Where's Nimbus at? Nimbus is right here. Since I now have Nimbus in my hand, and another yellow card, I can actually end my opponent's turn effectively. But I need a yellow energy. But he lets me unstand, so it's good to unstand your energy that are yellow in this deck. So restand. So now I have 3 energies to work with, and if they try to attack me, all I have to do is Nimbus and discard a yellow. So I can discard this yellow, and then it negates 1 attack. Even if it's you're negating a battle card attack and you're discarding a yellow, they can only attack with 1 more battle card and 1 more leader. So if they do attack with a battle card or a leader, you can block it, and they can only attack 1 more time with the leader. And this effectively stops 2 attacks. Pretty good, right? So that's how you play the deck. Slowly over time, you can actually generate more advantage by drawing to your march. Let's assume she passed away as well. So now you have 5 energies, and this is only turn 5 for you. So now you have another ape. This is only turn 5, and you have how many combo shield? You have a 10k combo shield, 10k combo shield, 10k combo, all for free, and then they also can combo for 10k. So you're hitting really hard with this little package here. So that's how you play the deck turn by turn. The next portion of this video, I'll show you different choices you can play in your deck. So if you feel like certain matchups are better over the other. Peace. Hi, it's me again. So this is going to be the portion where you guys can talk about different choices for your deck, and these are the highly recommended ones I would like to choose depending on the shift in the meta. So if your meta or your locals is full of certain decks, these are the cards that I would recommend going into your deck. If your locals does not play certain decks, then I would recommend not playing. So the first card I want to talk about is Victory Strike. So with the current meta as it is, they try to play Victory Strike to end the game quickly, because it's basically if they attack you with Victory Strike and the damage is dealt, you could actually lose the game. So what I recommend playing is Crusher Ball. So Crusher Ball, the reason why I would play this in the Ape deck is because it is a yellow card and is also an extra card. Crusher Ball, what I recommend using it on is playing it on their full Spirit Bomb Goku, which is the 5-drop, and they have to tap out 5 energies to play so. So when they play out their 5 energies to play their Goku, this is when you Crusher Ball. The reason being is that in that deck they play Bad Ring Laser, which I'll get to in a second. Bad Ring Laser is this card right here, which states that it can negate any counter card. So Crusher Ball is a counter card. If you read it, it says counterplay. So Bad Ring Laser is this natural negate cards, which can negate Crusher Ball from taking effect. So basically, it shuts off this, and then they'll be free to untap an energy with their Goku, and then they'll X-Evolve twice into 2 different Gokus, and lastly into Victory Strike. So it's best to Crusher Ball on their first step, so that they're in tap mode, and you can deal with it on your next turn. So really good card if you want to stop them from Bad Ring Lasering, because when they have 5 energy, they need at least 1 energy to play this, right? Because when they tap out 5, they won't have an energy to play this to negate your Crusher Ball. So the best timing to use Crusher Ball is to play it on their 5-drop. Another card you can play in your main deck is Bad Ring Laser. So if your meta is full of yellow leaders that like to play Cold Bloodlust, and it's really crucial that your King Vegeta searches for your absolute defense King Vegeta, because if it gets negated, you won't be able to, it follows your game plan. So you can play Bad Ring Laser to negate Cold Bloodlust, which is a card that negates King Vegeta. So this is more of the intermediate step of the video. I should have mentioned that in the beginning of the video, or the beginning of this segment. This is more the intermediate steps where you have to see the interaction between your deck and your opponents and your locals. So it depends. So Bad Ring Laser can negate Cold Bloodlust. That's essentially why you would play it in your Ape deck if you feel like you need it. Another reason is if they play Nimbus Cloud on you. So if you're playing the mirror match, a mirror match means that if you're playing against your opponent who is also playing the same engine as you or the same deck as you, they'll try to Nimbus you, flying Nimbus you to end your turn. So you can actually battering laser their flying Nimbus so that you can kill them on their turn. So good card if you want to decide if you're going to play a lot of mirror match, or if you're going to play a lot of what was the other? Yeah, if you're going to play against Victor Strike. So play that. If you feel like you cannot awaken enough with the no opening Son Goku, you can actually play another card that's a Saiyan card. This is an Overrealm 4 Saiyan card that you can search for with Planet Vegeta, and it allows you to take a life and then send one of your opponent's 5 or less battle card to the warp area. So this does 2 things. It's searchable, actually 3 things. It's searchable by Planet Vegeta because it's a 4 or Saiyan, and second, it helps you self-awaken by taking a life. And since you're at 6, it'll take you to 5, and if you're at 5, it'll take you to 4 to help you awaken. And it takes out an opponent's vital battle card that will help them set up. So if you're playing the mirror match, you can play this card if you want to search it. Assume you have 4 cards in your drop area, you can take out a Vegeta, King Vegeta before they can evolve on top of it. So a lot of it has to do with sniping. So you can play that too. The reason why I wouldn't want to play this card over Family of Justice is because Family of Justice doesn't require you to have 4 cards in your drop area. So that's why I don't recommend playing him. But if you feel like you need him anyways, he's your guy. Another Saiyan card you can play is Trunks, Overseeing Time. This card allows you to recycle cards from the drop area back to your hand. It has to be a battle card. So if you want to play a card that has double strike, because he has double strike, you could recycle cards from your drop area back to your hand. So he's really good if you want to recycle your super combos and hit harder. And he's also a Saiyan who's 4 or lower. So that means you're searchable by Planet Vegeta. Another good card. Another Saiyan is the same guy, Trunks, Time Patrol Trunks. So if you feel like your deck doesn't have enough ways to search for King Vegeta to play your deck's engine, you can play Time Patrol Trunks by warping 3 cards in your drop area and playing him and looking at the top 2 and either adding the second card to the bottom or putting back on top. That's what he does. And then the other 2 Overrealm cards are not Saiyans, but they're black cards, and that can help you out. So Haru Haru, if your meta is dominated by androids or yellow leaders, mainly, you can play Haru Haru to untap your energy for free. And he's so you can play him on for free, and he has critical, and he mills 2 on top of that. So if you're playing an Overrealm heavy ape deck, she mills 2 cards on top of that. So she does 3 things, which is she has critical, she untaps 3, and she mills 2. So a really good card in a meta where it's dominated by yellow leaders or green leaders like androids. And then you have, last but not least, Scientist Fu. So if you feel like you want to draw and hit harder, Scientist Fu is your man because he draws 2 cards and he only takes 1 energy to play. So the only condition is that you have to have 7 cards in your drop area, which can be a little bit of a late game finisher. So which is why I only recommend 1 if you do decide to play him. Those are the cards I want to talk about for the choices. As you expand into your reach, Planet Vegeta lets you search for any 4 or lower Saiyan. So use your resources at your disposal to look for any 4 or lower Saiyan, even on the upcoming sets. When they release more Saiyans that are 4 or lower, you can actually slowly build your deck with the new Saiyans, or you can use the pre-existing Saiyans in this game to make your deck stronger. I believe that SSJ3 Apes is a really good deck, only because Cronoa hits Shigesh, and that limits yellow leaders a bit. So you can actually play SSJ3 Apes, which plays yellow cards, but he's not a yellow leader. So you don't have to play Shigesh to make this deck really good. So that's all I want to talk about with my side deck choice, and I hope you guys learn how to play SSJ3 Apes. Peace out.